So that is another track.
Move like Jagger. That was a bit loud.
That was a bit loud. That's all right. I'm going to turn you down a little bit, Sandra, because I'm just sort of mumbling over here. And look, by all means, go to a different section. But my thought is to try and have each sort of 5 or 10 minute or quarter of an hour, whatever it turns out to be, on a particular sort of a topic, because sort of moving along and breaking my own theory at the moment. If we load all of this into an AI system,
all of what?
Well, if we take out bits of audio from a radio show,
yes,
and say, well, look, here's 4 or 5 bits, and we've uploaded it into Google Notebook. Google Notebook will go through and say, well, that was waffle, that was off the point. What they're really talking about is something else, and then it will come up with a 5 or 10 minute summary of 40 minutes of chat, which will be much more concise. And they'll have got their voice levels as well. If there's 2 of them, there's none of this messing about with the faders. They get the sound levels correct.
Because they're not human. They don't have the
for
human
whatever reason it is, they get it sorted.
They're not human, that's why.
Well, that doesn't stop them making mistakes, does it?
No, they made some with the last show we did.
Well, they did.
Naughty.
But on the other hand, there's certain things they get right, in that they take a long period of time that's maybe gone off the topic quite a few times, and they make it into precise 3 or 4 minute chunks eventually. I mean, they come up with, if you give them half an hour, they come up with 12 minutes. But it's in a very logical sequence, and it's very, very much on topic as it goes along.
But they made a mistake with the last.
Well, they did. Yes.
Presentations.
Okay. Let's go to that. We'll come back to how we got there later on, maybe. So let's talk about the mistakes that it makes, in your view. Well, there's a couple. Just to explain a bit more. Google Notebook is the one we're using, but there are other ones available.
The one you're using, the
one I'm using is Google Notebook. We'll come on to what different bits of AI that you use later on, but let me explain this. Okay, so Google Notebook is really designed for any sort of content input, so it could be text or an article or a video or sound, but what I use it for is sound. So if you take out the music and just have 4 or 5 voice clips from a show, put them all into Google Notebook, and then they've got what they call a deep dive. They've got a sort of podcast with 2 presenters, and then they've got another one which is a video presentation, which is probably 1 presenter, and that's usually a bit shorter, but that's more opinionated. As a PowerPoint presentation, they simplify whatever's been said and they make it blunter with more challenging views in it. And the longer one, the podcast presentation, it just had mistakes of fact in it, which we corrected.
You corrected it with a bing bong.
Yes, I had a bing bong correction. So we put new facts into it.
30 hours, 30 instead of 13. So it didn't pick up. That was one of the mistakes it makes. So yeah, I used AI to help me craft an email to my doctor, who was newer to me because my doctor changed. Not of my will, but of the surgeries. And I spent over, 13 hours overnight with an AI, a specialist AI, to help me craft an email to my doctor to help me with PIP, because he really didn't understand how my disabilities affected me, because he was new to me, only works 2 days a week, and he'd missed some critical stuff, information, I should say, from my medical history. And he'd left that out because what PIP do is they ask the doctor's input. And when I saw the medical records of what my doctor had put when they asked for the report from him, he pretty much crossed through all most of it and just put a few things at the end. Well, that's not what PIP needs. They need to know how your disabilities affect you. And so that didn't do me any favours. So I actually lost my PIP. PIP is personal independence payment if you live in the UK, because I realised this show is online, so you could get global listeners in.
Yeah.
And it's disability benefits.
But it was only on the. Just getting back to the Google Notebook, it was only one number that they got.
There was 2 mistakes in that, but I just wanted to clarify that the AI actually helped me to speak to my doctor better to get PIP reinstated, because he then wrote me a much better letter to PIP to explain my disabilities, because he looked back through my medical history, which he pretty much didn't look back through before. So that's a wonderful thing that you can use AI for that other people might not be doing. Like, the AI didn't write everything for me. That's why it took over 13 hours overnight, because I won't let AI write stuff for me. I'm not going to let it write everything for me, but I was helping it to get my point across with more clarification for my doctor and put it in succinct points.
Right.
So I wanted to just let you know, and your audience know that, in case someone's listening in, because obviously you might have someone from personal independence payment, you never know, listening in. So it didn't write, it didn't write the whole thing for me. It was just an email to my doctor. It's ultimately my doctor's decision what he did with that email, but it allowed him to see where he'd missed things in my medical history and hadn't understood me. Because I think with doctors, they're very busy and they just rush things and they don't really understand what PIP's looking for. And when my doctor found out that I'd had my PIP taken away from me, and with my disabilities, it was devastating for me. He realised what impact that had on me, because my disabilities do affect me. I spend a lot of time indoors because of them and mobility issues. So because I got fibromyalgia as well as broken bones in my spine, then it was really good that the AI was helping to facilitate more clarification on that. And then when we go back to the presentations that the Google Notebook, is it?
Yeah.
Did on my interview with Will last time, it did a major mistake in the video presentation, because it said that I have never spoken on stage before and I'm a pocket speaker rather than a stage speaker. It kind of put it
explain those 2 words again: pocket speaker and stage speaker.
So the AI produced two summaries of my interview with Will. One was, I had 2 mistakes in it, because it said I spoke to AI in text message for 30 hours and it was 13, and it also said that I'd been having my asexualized channel, it said about the number of years on I had my asexualized channel, but because I was talking about 2024, saying I got 1 million views on the 23rd of December 2024, that was my 9th year of having my channel. This year is the decade I've had my channel, October 2025, so I've just been having my channel for a decade. So it got those 2 things wrong. And then in the video presentation, it said, you might think that it said about me being a Women's Business Awards finalist for Speaker of the Year, as well as Diversity Inclusion, but when it was talking about Speaker of the Year, it put me as a pocket speaker, which is correct.
Yeah, but so just explain pocket speaker.
I want to explain what it said. So first, so it was saying that this person's a pocket speaker and you won't see her on stage in a suit, which isn't actually correct, because I have done that as well. But a pocket speaker, as opposed to like a stage speaker, someone who speaks on stage, is basically a speaker in your pocket. So it's for me, it's speaking on YouTube daily. So in order to be a really good speaker, you have to be a good storyteller, and I tell an ongoing story of my life through my asexual life channel. And mixed up in between that, I do live streams taking an educational topic. So I'll talk about, for example, how to be a confident asexual person, asexual people, how to grow your confidence as an asexual, how to be more confident as an asexual person. And then in my vlogs, I will show me being confident. Do you know what I mean? Like dressing up really nicely for myself for a self-date, because I talk a lot about self-dating. So when I do a live stream talking about confidence and self-love and self-care, I then show that in practice by daily vlogging, which is ongoing storytelling. So I'm like a pocket speaker. I'm on someone's phone, because that's mostly what people use these days for social media and for YouTube. I'm on someone's phone speaking daily, so I'm a speaker in their pocket because they put their phone in their pocket a lot of the time. So a pocket speaker, that's what a pocket speaker is, as someone who is constantly speaking. So I'm not someone who just speaks on stage once in a while, which is what I was trying to say in the last interview. I'm someone who's constantly speaking on my virtual stage of my Asexualized My Asexual Life channel every single day of my life, telling my ongoing story of my life to empower and enhance asexuals' life, to promote being your authentic self and living your authentic life. That's what I'm about. So I'm constantly doing that throughout every single day of my life, which takes a lot of skill. So when I do the live streams, I used to do that every night. I don't do the live streaming every night now because I do so many shorts videos in a day. But when I do that, I'm having to speak to my audience. They're usually 1 to 2 hour shows, so they're really thorough. And then I'm having to manage chat because people from outside, like wherever you live, you can come on my show in chat. So you'll be in the chat. You won't actually be physically with me in my home, but you'll be in chat. And you can ask me anything you want in chat, obviously respectfully. If it's something that's trolling, I won't accept trolls. But just if there's anyone listening who happens to know some trolls. But yeah, so as long as it's respectful and kind, they can ask me anything they want in chat. And they're like my live audience that I will answer any question in chat in between the educational topic I'm talking about. So does that make sense?
It does, but Sandra, what you're describing is more towards the pocket speaker end of things. So you haven't said a lot about stage speaking, although you do that sometimes.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem to be a priority of what you do.
It's not the main thing I do, but when I do it, obviously it's really good. So so I spoke at the UK Asexuality Conference. I did 2 talks there. I did a talk on how to arrange an asexual meetup. That was a 45-minute talk. And I also did a talk about asexual relationships, and the most important relationship we have is with ourselves. And so I talked about self-dating and self-love, which actually went down better than the how to arrange an asexual meetup talk. So I did 2 talks there. And then I did, Oxford University. I spoke for Blue Talks there. So that's on Connect TV, which is a huge TV network online. And various other places on Blue Talks channel. And then I also spoke at the Be and Become Summit as well, which I was a keynote opening speaker. It was a 2-day event and I was a keynote opening speaker, but also I've spoken on a lot of podcasts. So speaking, especially for the Women's Business Awards, it's all types of speaking. So that means speaking on podcasts, speaking in person, on Oxford University, they've done UK Asexuality Conference in Westminster, like the online summit I opened. I mean, to be the opening keynote speaker for the 2 days talking about asexuality, I mean, that's just incredible for me personally. And then I do talking all the time on YouTube throughout every single day of my life. So I've got the whole mixture, if you want. But I've been on loads of podcasts. I've been on Lifeology Radio. That's a massive radio station in America with over 3 million listeners per episode. I've been on Live with the Dr. Al show. Dr. Al is so famous in America. I've been on Sense of Soul podcast and Powerography podcast. Sense of Soul's got over 1 million downloads. Ask the Expert with podcast. I was actually talking on a podcasting expert podcasting show. I was talking about I was talking about my asexual channel and about speaking on a YouTube channel, how to grow your confidence with speaking on Ask the Expert with podcasting show. So although my YouTube channel is predominantly just on YouTube, some of my videos do go on YouTube Music as podcasts, and some people class YouTube shows these days as podcasts as well.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that later on, but. And we'll also get into relating to the chatbots, how we think about them, how we put them right.
Oh yes, some of them go very wrong.
Well, we've established that.
No, more wrong. They can start getting people's names wrong as well, and all sorts.
You see, I'm inclined to see the chatbot point of view based on what you're saying. I would put you more of a pocket speaker than a standing up on a stage speaker.
But
I think that's a fair comment, just based on the volume of words that you've used in a particular period of time.
Well, it's not a representation, though, is it? Because they're saying that you'll never see me on a stage. You never see her on a stage.
No,
with a
is
suit.
that what they said?
Yes.
Oh no, that's not quite right.
That's lying, and I don't.
Oh, no,
I will never. I will
just-
never have lying.
Well, they just got it wrong.
That's why
So-
I said at the beginning of the video on the one I put on my channel that it's not true. It's a lie.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I didn't use the word lie. I used they made a major mistake. But yes, AI can lie, because if it's telling you something that's not true, then that's a lie. If it's by human standards, if you're just a coder and you're thinking, well, it's just the programming, yes, but humans program that code.
yes.
Humans are flawed.
and we respond to it as well.
So yeah.
Tell us another track, Sandra. We'll come back to this.
Right, yes. So track 4, I Got a Feeling. Woohoo!
Track 4.
Yes.